Christian and Amaka were close friends. Amaka was single while Christian was married, but despite their marital status, they were still friends. Christian was so close to Amaka that he used to spend a lot of time in Amaka's house. Most of the time he stays in Amaka's house till 10 p.m. before he goes back to his house. Christian and his wife are believing God for the fruit of the womb. They don't have even a single child. And Amaka has been advising Christian to marry another wife because Christian was an only child and his parents were dead. Amaka always pushes Christian to marry another wife that will give him children so that his family name will not be lost. Christian's wife always prays. She goes everywhere for solution. Sometimes he takes her husband along, but at a time the husband started withdrawing from following the wife to go to look for solution for their infertility. As time goes on, Amaka's persuasion on Christian to get married to another wife was so intense. She started getting angry whenever he had Christian follow his wife to anywhere in search of a child. Because of the pressure from Amaka, Christian started mistreating his wife. He doesn't listen to the wife anymore. He hardly eats the food the wife cooks. He started mistreating the wife that the wife always cries and plead with the husband to be patient with her, that at the appointed time that God will give them their own children. But Christian, being so much influenced by Amaka, did not hearken to the voice and the pleas of his wife. So one day, as the wife was getting fed up with all the mistreatment she's getting from Christian, she decided to quit the marriage. She took her belongings and went back to her father's house. Meanwhile, she and her husband Christian have built their own house, and it was at the time they wanted to pack into the house that his wife decided that he cannot follow her husband to the new house in the situation they were. She was wondering how she could pack into the new house when she is so unhappy and her husband was not treating her right at all. Instead of packing into the new house with her husband, she went back to her father's house while Christian packed into the new house alone. When Christian broke the news that his wife had left him to Amaka, Amaka was so happy. She rejoiced and said, "This is an answered prayer. At least you are now free to move on with your life, and you are free to marry someone who will be able to give you children." Amaka started persuading Christian to marry one of her friends, whose name was Chizoba. Chizoba was Amaka's very close friend, and at a time when Amaka introduced Chizoba to Christian, Chizoba was asking Amaka, "I thought this man is married." Amaka answered, "Yes, he is married, but the wife can't give him a child, so I want you to marry him so that you will give him children." Chizoba wasn't too happy about the offer, but she looked at herself. She said that age was no longer on her side, as she was already 37 years and she needed to get married. Although marrying an already married man wasn't part of her plan, but she had no choice at this moment. She had to accept the offer from her friend Amaka to marry Christian. Christian's wife, Anne, on the other hand, after receiving so many counsel from some people on why it's not good for her to leave her husband at that stage, she decided to go back to her husband. She went back to Christian, her husband, and pleaded with him to forgive her and take her back. And Christian forgave his wife and take her back, and they continued living together. When Christian told Amaka that he is now living with his wife again, that his wife have gone back to the house, Amaka was so furious. She was so angry at Christian. "Why should you make such mistake?" Amaka asked. "Did she use charms on you? Why on earth will you accept her back when I was already making plans for you to marry Chizoba, my friend, who could give you children. Don't you like your life? Do you want this woman to ruin your life? If you know what is good for you, better send that woman back, because you can't keep living with her. For your information, I have informed you about my friend that will be coming to ask her hand in marriage. Do not disappoint me. Better know what you could do about it. All these were what Amaka said to Christian. Christian didn't know what to reply. She only asked Amaka to forgive him for accepting his wife back. He confessed that he couldn't resist her tears and that the woman had been through a lot with him, so he didn't have the mind to send him away when he came back to ask for forgiveness. So after 3 days, Christian did not visit Amaka. Amaka tried to reach out to him, but he couldn't find him. After about 1 week, Christian came to visit Amaka. Amaka asked her, "Where have you been all this while? I've been trying to see you, but I couldn't find you." Christian told her that he went to somewhere with his wife in search of solution to their infertility problem. Amaka was surprised. She asked Christian, "I thought we agreed that we will never follow that woman to somewhere again. So this time around, where did she take you to?" Christian replied, "She took me to one native doctor inside one big forest." "You see what I'm telling you about?" Amaka said. "Inside a big forest to a native doctor. What if something have happened to you there? What if they kill you inside that bush? I've told you, stop following this woman around. There are a lot of fertile women out there that you can take as wife so that they will give you children." After this, Christian concurred to what Amaka said, and he promised Amaka that he will not follow his wife to anywhere again in search of children. After some time, Christian got married to Chizoba, Amaka's friend, and his wife finally left him. They divorced properly. After the divorce, Christian's wife went and adopted a baby girl, and life goes on. Even though Amaka's friend Chizoba married Christian, she never loved Christian. She only married Christian because, according to her, age was no longer on her side and she needed to answer a man's name. So after her marriage to Christian, she got pregnant, and at the time of delivery, she delivered through CS. Christian was happy. At least he is now a father. Amaka also was happy for Christian for becoming a father. As time goes on, after the birth of their first child, Chizoba started maltreating Christian. She doesn't cook at home. She comes back whenever she feels like. Whenever she goes to her business, sometimes she sleep over at business trip. She doesn't even take care of the house. Sometimes she leaves the baby for Christian from morning till evening, and Christian will be babysitting the child. Christian complained all this to Amaka, but Amaka kept telling her to calm down, that is the stress of pregnancy and childbirth that is disturbing her, that she is going through postpartum depression, that she will still change when things get well with her body. 4 years into the marriage, Chizoba already have 2 children for Christian, but then her character never improved positively. Instead, it keeps getting worse. Christian was fed up with everything about the marriage. All he wanted was peace, but Chizoba wasn't ready to give him any of that. Amaka tried a lot of times to advise her friend Chizoba to take care of his husband and stop making her husband sad, but Chizoba warned her never to interfere in her marriage. And at that time, Chizoba has warned her husband never to step foot in Amaka's house. And the relationship between Christian and Amaka was no longer strong as it used to be, because Chizoba have warned her husband that they should stop their relationship. After some years, Amaka got married. Meanwhile, Amaka is a woman doing very well for herself. She have her own business. She doesn't lack anything. But at her age, she was already 42 and she was not married. At a time, a man came to ask for her hand in marriage. The name of the man was Emeka. Everyone who saw Emeka and Amaka knows that Emeka was only after Amaka's wealth, because Amaka was far older than Emeka, and at the time Emeka was asking for Amaka's hand in marriage, he didn't have any tangible business he was doing. So to people around, it was obvious to them that Emeka was just after Amaka's money. Amaka and Emeka finally got married, and they started living happily as a newly wedded couple. 2 years into the marriage, Amaka was not yet pregnant. She started running around looking for solution to her problem, and in her search for solution, she carries her husband along. She drags her husband along to anywhere she hears that there could be solution to her infertility problem. 4 years into the marriage, Amaka was still not pregnant. At this time, her husband was already fed up. He has started having side chicks here and there. She have already flirting with a lot of women out there. At a time, he told Amaka, his wife, that she wanted to marry another wife. When he said this, Amaka couldn't believe her ears. She started threatening thunder and brimstone. She said that it's over her dead body that she will allow her husband to get married to another wife. She suggested that they adopt children, but the husband said that he is still young. He can still impregnate a woman and have her own children, so he can never go for an adoption. This caused a lot of problem to them, and Emeka also said that even if Amaka wants to adopt a child, it can never be in his name because he can never raise another man's child as his own. At a time, Amaka insisted that she must adopt a child, so she gathered money and gave to someone to help her adopt a child. The person collected the money, and till death, he never gave any child to Amaka. He just scammed Amaka of her money, and at this time, Amaka's wealth was gone because she has spent a lot of money looking for solution for her problem. She spent a lot, and at this point, her husband was not ready to follow her to anywhere or support her anymore. So after she was scammed, she didn't have a child, she didn't have money again, and her husband, on the other hand, was not even ready to look at her. She was flirting around with young girls in town. As time goes on, Amaka's niece was living with them in her house. One day, her niece got very sick. She had to take her niece to the hospital. And after a thorough checkup was run on her niece, they found out that her niece was pregnant. Amaka was so shocked. She was shocked and she was upset at her niece, asking her how come she could get herself pregnant at this age. At that time, Amaka's niece was just 15 years. She was still in secondary school. Then the battle began. Amaka started asking her niece who got her pregnant. The niece refused to talk. She threatened her. She did everything she could do to get her to talk, but she couldn't talk. At that point, Amaka had no choice than to take the child, her niece, back to her parents and tell her parents to ask her who got her pregnant. At last, the niece revealed a very shocking truth. It was Emeka, Amaka's husband, that got her pregnant. Then, Emeka insisted that she must marry his wife's niece, and the wife, Amaka, disagreed. He said over her dead body that his husband can never marry another wife, not to talk of marrying her niece. That brought a big problem between Amaka and her husband, even her own family. She insisted that her husband will never marry her niece. Instead, when her niece gives birth to the child, that they should hand the child over to her husband because it's her husband's child. And her family, on the other hand, insisted that if her husband doesn't marry her niece, they will never give them the child. The problem lingered until Emeka made it clear to them that she will not marry his wife's niece, neither will he even take the child. He is not interested in the niece and the child, so they should just be on their own and leave him alone. As time goes on, Amaka was losing it. She had nothing again. Her money was gone. Her husband doesn't have time for her again. She didn't have any child. She was going around from one prayer house to the other, looking for solution, begging God to give her even if it's one child. But it seemed as if God turned deaf ears to her prayers. After Emeka didn't regard his wife anymore. He neglected every threat from his wife and gets married to another woman. When Emeka got married to another wife, Amaka was heartbroken. She felt so bad. She cried her heart out, and she later packed out of the house and started cutting with her friend because she was already having problems with her family, as at the time when her niece got pregnant for her husband. She was cutting with her friend while her husband and his new wife were enjoying their house. Christian, on the other hand, after Chizoba had 5 children with him, one day he woke up and he couldn't find his wife anymore. His wife left with 2 of his modest children and left the 3 smallest ones for him. Now, Christian is walking around being a single father to 3 little children who are under 10 years, while his former wife is now living with her adopted child who is doing so well for herself, doing well academically and making the mother proud. Amaka, on the other hand, is still scotting with her friend. She doesn't have anything. She have lost all her resources. Her business is gone. Her marriage is gone. She had no child. Nothing to herself, nothing to boast about. Even her family have turned their back against her. So she felt lost. She is confused as it stands right now. She's just someone from grace to grass, scutting around, looking for help here and there. Nobody knows the whereabouts of Chizoba, the second wife of Christian. Christian only knows that she woke up one day and left the house with 2 of her children, leaving 3 children for him to cater for. At the age of 57, Christian is a single father, taking care of little children. He keeps regretting ever marrying Chizoba. She keeps regretting ever allowing his wife to leave the house. He is now wishing that he have adopted children with his lovely wife and have a peaceful old age, instead of marrying Chizoba, who puts him through all the stress he is passing now. Amaka, on the other hand, was told that what she is passing through may be as a result of what he did to Christian's first wife. God might be rewarding her for everything that she did. And she have tried so many times to apologize to Christian's first wife, but she can't access her. Christian's first wife have left the town and nobody knows where to find her. So Christian and Amaka are living in guilt and regret right now. This is a true life story. What do you think about it? Do you think that Amaka is facing the consequences of what she did to Christian's first wife? Do you think that Christian is facing the consequences of what he did to his first wife? Could this be their karma? Drop your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more stories that touches the heart.